Welcome, everybody. We are on Wednesday's episode of The Expendable Show, and I'm your host, The Expendable. There's a lot to cover today. A lot of stuff has happened, so we're going to get right into it. But first, if you like my show, like, subscribe, ding the bell, and that's how the channel grows. So let's get into our statistics. We do this every single episode. So if you don't like hearing what numbers are, I probably would have said that at one point in my life because when I was in high school, I hated math and algebra. I'd be like, somebody says one more number, I'm going to lose my mind. But as I've gotten older, I kind of like numbers, and now I do business. So I'm in the numbers all day. It's kind of ironic. So Doge. They haven't updated it since the last episode, so we're at 170 billion, which is 1,055 per taxpayer. Now the debt clock, we're up to 456 billion, which we've crossed over into the 4,000. So we're at $4,061 per taxpayer saved. Love it. Eggs. So eggs is kind of hovering around this 330 mark. We're at 331. Still well below Biden's average of 415 from 2024. Mortgage rates, 6.7 average on 2024. Today, we're finally starting to see it go down a little bit. We're at 6.8. Gas prices, according to AAA, which is, if you guys haven't checked out the gas chart on AAA's website, well, my mic is cutting out, Rob. That might be my internet doing that. We had some nasty weather here. I woke up to the tornado sirens this morning. But anyway, if you haven't checked out the AAA gas website, it's an excellent tool. I religiously use it for this podcast because I feel like it's the most accurate and it's easy to navigate their site. So I like that. But 330 was Biden's 2024 average. Trump's down to 318. We're up a little bit from last episode. I think gas this morning when I went through town was 356. Trump, his approval rating has gone up. We're trending up. So Trump is at 47.3%. Sunday, he was at 46 something. Previous week, he was at 45. So he's up 2 percentage points from last week. So some of his policies that are coming to bear fruit are gaining popularity, and that's a good sign. I was starting to worry there a little bit that he took a hit from the tariffs, but everything that he said he was going to do that was going to work is starting to come through, and we're starting to see it work. Well. So something that happened today, and that just happened. I had to hurry up and put it in my script for the day. But so Trump met with the president of South Africa, and I thought that it was going to be a nothing burger. I was like, he's just meeting with this dude from South Africa. He's probably showing up to ask for some money. But that turned into a whole ordeal. So the South African president, his name is Cyril Ramaphosa. Cyril Ramaphosa. So Trump accused South Africa of that white farmers are being targeted and killed in the country. So Ramaphosa looked shocked, like he had never heard this before. I don't know. I don't know the guy that well. I don't know nothing about the dude other than he's the president of South Africa. Trump's main evidence was he compiled a video that he's shown in the Oval Office, like in the middle of this thing. He was like, hey, turn around, look over there. I got a video I want you to see. Like in front of the media and everything. It was pretty crazy. I wasn't expecting it. It was it was speeches by a politician in South Africa who was kicked out of Ramaphosa's party, um, which is his this guy's new party is not part of the coalition that governs the country. Um, he has kind of his own political movement that is like 10% of the last vote in South Africa. So this guy, he's a troublemaker. They kicked him out of the party, started his own party. He's about 10% of the populace. So this video got played. So the Trump administration used talked about this like fringe politician in accordance to South Africa's violence. And I've been hearing about this for a few years now, that the violence is upticking in South Africa amongst basically it's a race war somewhat. Yeah, it is. I don't want to say somewhat. It is. Trump has now allowed that South Africans, they can apply to become refugees in the United States. There's just a lot of stuff that is going on over in South Africa where you're seeing, people being attacked, women being beheaded. There's just a lot of violence going on, and the world media is not really covering it. I actually read about it in Russia Today. So the Russian media does cover some of the stuff going on in South Africa probably because of Putin's ties with South Africa. So we'll see what happens there. Trump really put a shellacking on the South African president. Basically, like, if these things are happening as a president, how do you not know? If I'm president, I'm going to know everything that happens in my country. One, because I have all the intelligence from like 12 different agencies reporting to me all the time. I'm going to know. So even though the South African president had this like genuine look of shock, I don't believe him. And I saw some political people on TV talking about it, like, well, he sincerely didn't look like he knew. Then you need to fire everybody in your intelligence community, because no one's telling you the truth about what's happening in your country. If you can have a foreign country come over and compile all this video documentation, all the intelligence that Trump had, pictures, photos, videos, documents of all these atrocities happening in South Africa. They're blaming it. They're saying, well, Elon Musk is telling tall tales. No, that's not what's happening. There's several videos, and I've been seeing these for years now, where they're chanting, kill the Boer, shoot the Boer, which is what the African natives call the white farmer. So this is something they've been talking about for a while. Elon says that the president is lying. He says that very few people know that there's a major political party in South Africa that is actively promoting white genocide. He posted that on X. He said, where's the outrage? Why is there no coverage by legacy media? We know why, because it doesn't fit anybody's narrative. And I'll give you my thoughts on that here in a second. Ramaphosa kept saying, where did that happen? Where did you get this? I've never seen this before. And Trump's just kind of like, yeah, then he showed this picture of like the whole highway was lined up with white crosses that supposedly resembled all the white farmers that have been killed, which added up to around 3,000. And what people don't tell you is that South Africa has about 20,000 murders a year. That's a lot. We don't have that like that in the United States. And then, Johannesburg, South Africa is one of the most violent cities on the planet. So for this guy to not know about the violence going on in his country, I think is a flat out lie, which is probably why President Trump has pretty much cut all financial ties to South Africa long before this even happened, which he's rightfully so. He should be doing. He should be cutting that. If they want some money from us, they're gonna have to clean their act up over there. We can't just keep cutting checks to countries that aren't doing the right thing. Ramaphosa, he tried to say that most of the people murdered in South Africa are black. He said that if Trump listened to the voices of South Africans, he would better understand the situation. Trump did look frustrated, like he was annoyed. He looked frustrated, like he didn't like this guy's not getting the picture. All I'm hearing is stupid excuses. Somebody who's managed people, last thing I want to hear is you come up with excuses. I want to hear you say, I'm going to look into that and I'm going to solve this problem. Trump even said, hey, I've heard thousands of stories, and he probably has. The video evidence was pretty damning. Yeah, I don't think you can really contradict that. You had thousands of people at this rally saying basically kill the white farmer. So I don't know how he can really get around saying that. Now, I don't think genocide against any types of people are good. I don't like that China did such horrible things to the Uyghur tribe of people, the Muslim people of China. I think that's horrible what they did to those people, and our media never covered it. They never talked about it. It took an NBA basketball player, Enes Freedom Canner, to actually shed light on it. And it's too bad because they ended up, the NBA, since they're so tied in with China, they basically blacklisted Enes Freedom Canner. And that's horrible. For one, I'm an Enes Freedom Canner fan. I'm a New York Knicks fan, and he played for my Knicks for a little bit. But and he whooped on LeBron pretty good in one game, and I don't like LeBron James. But anyway, there's genocides that happen all over the world. That's my point, and it doesn't matter, the type of genocide it is, if it's racially or if it's religiously, it's wrong, no matter which way you do it. Hitler did it; it was wrong. It's happened several times in Russia. It's wrong. It's happened in Afghanistan. It's happened in Iraq. It's happened in Israel. It's happened in Palestine. It's happened everywhere half the countries in Africa do it. This is wrong. And for Trump, a lot of media people are coming out saying, well, he should have done this behind closed doors. I disagree. Because if you're going to come over to the Oval Office and expect, just like President Zelensky did, and stick your hands out and go, here, America, we need money. Well, you better have your country in order, because we can't give you money if you're turning your back on an opposition group that's murdering people, regardless of race. So that's a situation that I think that Trump was right by putting this guy on blast on national television, because now I'm even more for South Africa don't get nothing until they get their ducks in a row. I want to see them cut their murder rate in half before I even consider sending some money over there. Like, get it down to 10,000 and we can start working with you. Make an effort. And it's just like what Trump said with Syria. He said, hey, you guys started making some progress over there, and I'm happy about that. So I'm going to lift sanctions and let's do something. That's how you reap the reward of America. You start to make progress. You start to clean up the terrorism. You clean up the murders. You clean up the violence. And you're going to get the favor of the American taxpayer. I don't mind helping out countries. I mean, we should be helping ourselves out. But if there's countries out there that do need American help and they are putting a good faith effort in towards trying to solve their problems on their own, and they just need a little bit of help, I have zero problem with us going over and helping people. But I don't like that if you have the highest murder rate in the world and you want to come over and try to take my money that I work for what? If you're going to go over there and you're going to hire 100,000 more cops to help stop the violence, okay, But I didn't hear no plan out of his mouth about that. It was just give me some money. So no, sorry. What's up, G bro? So now I'm going to give you guys a quick update on the big, beautiful bill. So they have made some progress. There are a few holdouts from the Freedom Caucus, but Trump met with everybody. He came out of the meeting, said, hey, everything sounds like we're going to be okay. I think that they're going to try to vote on it late tonight. They may not get to it, but I think they're going to attempt to at least talk about voting on it. But I would expect them to have a vote by tomorrow, or the next day. I think it's going to pass. I think there's just a couple hardball players. If it doesn't pass, then Trump with his mandate is probably going to create a reckoning that some of these guys don't want. I know Georgia here, Andrew Clyde has been a proponent, or he's been an opponent of some of the issues in the big, beautiful bill. So I know here that if that bill fails with Andrew Clyde's no signature on it, it's going to be a rough go for him. And that's sad because I like him. He's fought a lot of good fights for conservatives. But deal's the deal. You honor the mandate. Now, I'm sure there's probably some things in there that everybody's not going to agree on. What bill is going to make every single person in Congress happy? None. So we'll see what happens. The Senate did pass the no tax on tips. So that went 100-0. Nobody voted against tax on tips, which I was kind of surprised because I thought the Democrats would be stupid enough to vote out or attempt to vote down no tax on tips. But apparently they used their a few more brain cells than what they normally do and voted it in. So, but I have to point out, it's really nice to see Democrats vote yes on Trump policies. It is truly. So we also had a lot of talk this week about the Golden Dome. So that's becoming a big thing. And at first, when Trump was campaigning and he was talking about the Golden Dome, I was kind of like, man, how would you do that? The United States, this isn't Israel. Like, Israel's the size of New Jersey. We're like, how do we put a dome, a missile defense dome over the United States? How is that going to work? Trump figured it out, and the project's going to move forward. So President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced the U.S. will soon begin construction of a Golden Dome missile defense system. They say the next generation, that it will be a next generation game changer. China's already pissed that we decided to do this because it kills their hypersonic missile attack. And Russia's not going to like it. Everybody who spent all this money developing hypersonic missiles, this is going to be a problem for them because now we can handle that. Where before we didn't have a missile comparable enough to shoot them down. Well, we don't need one because now we're going to put the Golden Dome over the United States. It's going to be a game changer. And so the similar system is the Iron Dome, which is over Israel. It's very successful. They shoot down over 90% of missiles that come, especially when Iran fired over 300 last year. I think only a couple of them actually landed. So that's a successful system, and we'll have one probably better than the Iron Dome. It'll be multi-layered. There will be more technology. Trump says it's going to be way, way more advanced. He says that he expects a major phase of the dome that it'll be complete within 3 years, and that it'll be fully operational before the end of his term. Then he went on to talk about it a little bit. He said, in the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack, and that's what we're doing today. He added that the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they're launched from the other side of the world, and even if they are launched from space. Which that reminds me, I read on Russia Today earlier today that Russia has now Gee, bro, man. Hey, I wanted to just remind you while you bring up the Notre Dame's Golden Dome that the Ohio State University did beat your Irish in the national championship. I don't know if you remember that, but that did happen. I just thought I'd remind you. NORAD, I'm not sure, Rob. I haven't really looked into the logistics of how this whole Golden Dome is going to come together or what's going to happen. I did receive a tip from somebody here in Atlanta, the Atlanta metro area. He's real big into the Gee, Brian, I didn't think you would remember that. A lot of the Notre Dame fans, they seem to have forgotten. You're right, Rob. A lot is still in use. However, I was going back to my Russia thing. So I was reading on Russia Today. They have labeled that if any extraterrestrials assist in any aggression towards Russia, they will be labeled a foreign threat. Now, why would Russia go through the whole shebang on the record in their open, I don't know what they call it, in their parliament or whatever? They talked about this in like open record. I was like, I can't believe this is like a topic that these guys are talking about in Russia. And it is. And so Putin has this put in play. Like, if any extraterrestrials assist in the attack or the aggression towards Russia, they'll be labeled as a foreign threat. They literally label it extraterrestrial. I was like, what the heck? What's really going on? Is there they know something we don't know? But anyway, Trump also announced that he's placing Space Force General Michael Gutlein in charge of the project. Trump said that no one's more qualified for this job. And ultimately, this right here, the Golden Dome for America, is a game changer. That was Pete Hegseth. He said it's a generational investment in the security of America and Americans. I like the idea. I think it's great. I think it's cool that they're calling it the Golden Dome, because it's supposed to be better and more advanced than what Israel has. Gutlein indicated that the Golden Dome is necessary to preserve the safety, security, and the quality of life Americans are used to. We owe it to our children and our children's children to protect them and afford them the quality of life that we have all grown up enjoying. Golden Dome will afford that. Then he said our adversaries have become very capable and very intent on holding the homeland at risk. So it's nice that we're finally seeing, after Biden let everybody enter our airspace for 4 years and do whatever they want, that we finally have a plan put in place. It only took a new president that actually cares about the United States to do it, and said, hey, we're going to put up this Golden Dome. We're not having Chinese spy balloons or any of this other crazy stuff. Could you imagine? We might have been able to stop 9/11 from happening had we had the Golden Dome back then. Think about that. Still would have been a tragedy, but at least we wouldn't have 2 World Trade Centers flattened to the ground. I mean, I'm staying away from the conspiracies on this, even though not going to talk about it. Not going to talk about it. While we've been focused on keeping the peace overseas, our adversaries have been quickly modernizing their nuclear forces, building up ballistic missile capabilities of hosting multiple warheads, building out hypersonic missiles capable of attacking the United States within an hour and traveling at 6,000 miles an hour, building cruise missiles that can navigate around our radar and our defenses, building submarines that can sneak up on our shores, and worse yet, building space weapons. So they've acknowledged this. We didn't really see a lot of this technology get advanced during Biden. So I know for a fact that Russia actively has subs off the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. Know for a fact. They've been sitting there. They come and go. They can hit us whenever they want. It's essential that we have this Golden Dome. Russia is everywhere. They can pop up anywhere, and they've proven that. They have a very, very large submarine fleet. So I'm glad that we're being proactive about it. It's going to cost some money to do this, but it's worth it. Then the general went on to say, it's time that we change the equation and start doubling down on the protection of the homeland. I like that. Let's get it done. So I'm going to talk briefly about the Trump-Putin call. It wasn't as eventful as I thought it was going to be. So Putin and Trump talked about a Russia-U.S. prisoner exchange. They're going to go person for person. That's always good. One thing Trump's done a really good job of, amongst the several hundred other things, is Trump has been getting hostages back on U.S. soil. I think, I don't know what the number is, and I just now thought of it. I'm going to have to look into it now. But Trump has brought home, I would guess, more hostages than any president. It seems like every week he's bringing somebody home. That's somebody who loves the American, the American human, the American citizen. He's bringing them home. So I like that. They are talking about a ceasefire again. Yada yada yada. You know, we've been hearing this. So I'm hoping that that something gets done with this. Trump went to social media to praise the call as having gone very well and said Russia and Ukraine will immediately start negotiations toward a ceasefire and, more importantly, an end to the war. Putin made a statement after the call and noted that a ceasefire with Ukraine is possible, but noted that Russia and Ukraine must find compromises that suit both sides. Okay, I like that statement, but let's see some action. I need some action to happen before I get too excited about it, because we've been going back and forth with this whole ceasefire thing, and both sides keep screwing it up. So I need to see something happen. So that determination's yet to be finalized. Now, something that I've been paying attention to that I did a TikTok on earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't remember. So college commencement speeches, and I'm going to cover two of them. So what we have is Tampon Tim Waltz. He just recently had a commencement speech at the University of Minnesota Law School. He did it over the weekend, which he's still the governor of Minnesota. And during this commencement speech, he described Trump as a tyrant, told the students they're graduating into a genuine emergency. He went on to say, some would say, boy, this is getting way too political for a commencement address. But I would argue I wouldn't be honoring my oath if I didn't address this head on. He then proceeded to compare the Trump administration's ongoing deportations of criminal illegal immigrants to the Nazi secret police force of the 30s and 40s. He was quoted as saying, I'm going to start with the flashing red light. Donald Trump's modern day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the street. They're in unmarked vans wearing masks being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense. Not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye. Just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. This is like watching a movie. He's describing a movie. This is a movie plot. I've already seen this. It's like watching The Blacklist. The acting ICE director said that Waltz's abhorrent, dehumanizing, and ignorant comment should not be tolerated. the acting director, Lyons, said that the assaults against ICE officers have risen by over 400% from the same time last year. He placed part of the blame for the rise in assaults against ICE agents on politicians like Governor Walz. They're careless with their politically motivated rhetoric, which is true. The White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, Stephen Miller, who I'm a huge fan of, he's one of those guys that he would be like a really good like manager for like a professional wrestling like tag team, like the Demolition or something. Get him on there, let him start talking. He talks crazy. It's funny. He responded to Waltz's statement saying, this vile anti-American language can only be construed as inciting insurrection and violence. Where have we heard that before? So the next one I want to talk about, and then I'm going to kind of summarize some things. So Jasmine Crockett, who's everybody's favorite politician to hate right now, she spoke at Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi. Jasmine Crockett, she's from a Democrat from Texas, so she's doing stuff out of her state. She told the graduating class at Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi during a commencement speech on Sunday that they know how to use a chair in the face of adversity. There are people that are going to tell you that there is not a table in which there is not a seat for you. But I'm here to remind you of Montgomery and those folding chairs. Let me tell you that we know how to use a chair, whether we're pulling it up or we're doing something else with it. She used a reference to the viral video from August of 2023 as a group of white boaters attacking a black riverboat captain, Damian Pickett, in Montgomery, Alabama. They basically jumped the boat captain, which was wrong. I don't care what the race is. Like, if you have to jump somebody, you're a coward. Period. But luckily, there were some people there that were black. They came to his aid, and it turned into a brawl. And people got hit with chairs and stuff. Which I don't see anything wrong with the defense of the captain. You shouldn't just let somebody get jumped by like 4 people. It's not something that should happen. So Trump on Sunday told Kristen Welker on Meet the Press, it's a fake news, that Crockett is a low IQ person, calling her the future of the Democrat Party, which he described in disarray. Crockett has done nothing but incite violence. This is her becoming her MO. During Trump's first 100 days, she got slammed online for implying that Ted Cruz has to be knocked over the head, like hard. So then Pam Bondi accused Crockett of threatening lives because she said, all I want to see happen for my birthday is for Elon Musk to be taken down. And she would clarify her comments were intended to be as nonviolent resistance. But we all know how the Tesla thing went. That wasn't very nonviolent. So looking into those things, and Jasmine Crockett, she's her own worst enemy. She can't shut up. And the Democrats aren't telling her to, so maybe they're letting her sink her ship, or maybe they're in delirium and they think that these methods work. I'm not sure. But what you have here, instead of leading these kids into a positive future, you have these morons going to these commencement speeches and bringing their dark cloud and dangling it over these college kids who are getting ready to go out into the workforce and implanting them with this thick muck of hatred towards half of America. This isn't how it's supposed to go. I remember when college commencement speeches were these great speeches by some of the most brilliant people in America saying, your future's right here. You've invested all of your knowledge. You've invested all this time and money. Now go get your American dream. That's how college commencement speeches used to be. Now it's, Orange man bad. Be the resistance. Tim Waltz and Jasmine Crockett are the reason why kids are getting arrested. Period. So if you want to be a dumbass college kid and buy into this hatred, go right ahead, but expect that when things happen, you will go to jail, because that's how it happens. If you vandalize Teslas, you're going to jail. If you assault people for wearing MAGA hats, you're going to jail. It's very simple. There's no what you're being told is wrong. What you're being told is a complete sheep mentality that if you're buying it, you got what you got coming. That's all I gotta say. You're gonna end up in jail. Your college degree ain't gonna be worth a piece of paper it was written on, and that's pretty much how that goes down. Good luck getting a job in the future. The last thing I'm going to talk about is LaMonica McIver. So LaMonica McIver was charged during this whole ICE detention center thing. So the Justice Department did drop the charges against the mayor of Newark. They did charge her of assaulting 2 federal agents at the Delaney Hall Detention Facility in New Jersey. The body cam footage shows it. She was pushing, elbowing, and basically trying to prevent them from arresting Newark's mayor. I can't remember his name. He's got some funky, weird name. So the Department of Justice accuses McIver of having slammed her forearm into the body of a uniformed HSI agent and reached out and tried to restrain the agent by forcibly grabbing him. McIver rejected the charges in a public statement, arguing they're purely political. Earlier in the month, she stated that I joined my colleagues to inspect the treatment of ICE detainees at Delaney Hall in my district. We were fulfilling our lawful oversight responsibilities as a member of Congress have done many times before, and our visit should have been peaceful and short. However, they've already went there, and the report, when they went there, it came back as, oh, it's really clean in here and it's really well ran. So, why do you need to keep going back other than to cause a problem? The report's already been made on this facility that you guys already did. The administration will never stop me from working for the people in our district and standing up for what's right. I'm thankful for the outpouring of support I have received, and I look forward to the truth being laid out clearly in court. Pam Bondi's probably not the right one, or not Pam Bondi, but the prosecutor here is Elena Habah. So everybody knows who she is. We've watched her for the last year campaign with Trump, and she is a no-nonsense prosecutor. So this isn't going to work out. She did have her initial appearance today, and she was released on her own recognizance. So I expect her to probably face some consequences here. I don't know, if the felony convictions are going to stick or if they're going to work out a misdemeanor deal. It just depends on Elena Habah, what she wants to do. I prefer that she stick with the felony charges. I think if you would have had a scuffle maybe with one Homeland Security agent, maybe a deal, but you assaulted 2 of them and then try to prevent the arrest of another suspect. So I think a felony offense, a low-level felony is appropriate. And hopefully that's what happens. But you're innocent until proven guilty in this country, even though I don't like her. She still has to face her accuser, and we'll see what happens in court. And then when she's found guilty, we'll see what happens in Congress, what they're going to do with her. I think it's probably going to be an ethics violation. I don't know if they'll try to remove her. Bob Melendez is still in there somewhere. He was there that day. Oof. getting into it. People like, hey, aren't you supposed to be in jail or something? Didn't you steal a bunch of gold or you were taking bribes? Like, what are you doing here trying to do the right thing, idiot? But that is going to be our show for the day. So we have lots of stuff coming up this week. Lots of congressional hearings. If you're not watching them, you should be watching them. Before I let you go watch the EPA hearing today with Lee Zeldin. He destroyed every Democrat in there today. And this is the EPA. Like, the EPA should not be an aggressive back and forth, but they want to take personal shots at Lee Zeldin all the time. And he put his foot down today and just slaughtered the Democrats in Congress today. So if you get a chance, get on YouTube, find the EPA Lee Zeldin hearings from today and watch them. Lee Zeldin, he brought the fire, and it was funny. But that's it for the day. Everybody be safe. Watch out for the crazies. And I'm out. Peace.